Oh, Astros. Ooh. Right to the. Is this the dessert question? Where's the dessert? Oh, is that? That's not the trash can.
Was this college Dietrich? Was this?
So, D-boy.
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 Does anybody call him D?
No.
No, that died.
That hasn't-
We could bring that back though.
No, they never carried it into the big leagues.
It's a D-boy, and I were roommates at Georgia Tech.
Now, were you same year?
No.
So, I went to junior college for a couple of
2008.
years, transferred in, was really trying to get on that meal plan and get beefy because I was really skinny, and so I needed to live on campus. And
So who does he get paired up with?
And so the only people that really want to live on campus are like the freshmen. So it was my fourth year of school, D-Boy's first year of school.
Yep.
So Derek was, I feel like he wanted to be this, but we wouldn't let him be that just yet in college.
I had to earn it, yeah.
Yeah, he had to earn it. Like, you don't have any hits yet in college, which I also didn't have any hits at the time.
Well, what you don't know, when I came into school, and like I saw Charlie, and Charlie's a specimen of an athlete. Like I say this to this day. I don't know if you even know I say this about you, but I'll be like, put him in the NFL Combine with the wide receivers or whatever position group, and he will go first round just on that alone. You don't need game tape, game film. He can do it. He's that good of an athlete. But
Matched up with Samardzija.
But so Danny Hall's like, yeah, I'm putting you with Charlie Blackmon. He's a pitcher, but he's going to try out for the outfield this year. And I'm like, really? And so you tell the story. You know it better than I do, obviously.
So my first year at Georgia Tech, they did not let me pitch. My elbow was hurting. I was spraying balls, and they were going 82 miles an hour. So pitching not looking so good for me. Just wanted to get back on the map. Just play ball. Went out to the Texas Collegiate League. Told them I was a two-way player.
Yeah, I'm an outfielder.
Hadn't played a position since high school, which was 3 years ago, and ended up having a pretty good summer. Played well enough to get a tryout when I came back.
So much so that Rusty Greer was the manager, right?
He was our coach.
He was the coach, and he called Danny, and he's like, "Hey, Danny, this Charlie Blackmon guy's good, man. Thanks for sending him." He's like, "What do you mean he's good?" He's like, "Yeah, he hit so and so. He hit this, and he hit home runs." And he's like, "The guy's a pitcher." So long story short, it's fall ball in college, and David Duncan, this big left-handed starter, Friday night starter for us. Guy's 6'10". He was our ace, right? First fall scrimmage. Who does Charlie have to face? Duncan. What's he do? Puts him in the trees day one, and we're like, oh, he can really play. So what's he do? He hits 400 the first year in the ACC and goes, where'd you, second round to the Colorado Rockies, and the rest is history.
You traveled all this offseason, right?
We did.
Where'd you go?
Me and two other bullpen guys went to Japan and then went to South Korea.
When were you in Japan?
The week before you, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. Where'd you stay when you were in Japan?
We stayed at the Palace, Tokyo Palace Hotel.
Tokyo, yeah.
Yeah. Stayed in Tokyo, went to Shibuya,
Shibuya.
Yeah. Awesome.
Some great
crossing.
stories about Shibuya Street.
We did the go-karting through the city.
What?
So I had my Olaf costume.
Is this something you...
Wait, what?
It's a tour, so it's like a little
Why'd
tour.
you have on an Olaf costume, though?
Because they got sued because they called it Mario Street Kart Racing.
Oh, okay.
They can't be Mario Kart anymore.
So give
now it
different
is
characters.
street racing with characters.
Oh, okay. All right.
So you choose
kind of started in the middle of that story.
Choose your character,
Okay.
put on your outfit, and you literally are in a
You're
go-kart
driving?
driving through the city. You follow
You're
your
driving?
guide, yeah. So you're literally in a go-kart going 30 miles an hour, 30, 40 miles an hour through the city. Follow your guide.
Gas or electric?
Yes.
Oh,
What?
That thing's fizzing then.
Yeah. Awesome.
That sounds so sick.
I will send you GoPro video.
Did you
How
eat
did I not know
bananas
about this?
while you were driving?
Did not.
I was going to try to hit China, but not
I
sure.
heard that one's a little harder.
You might want to
What's the rules with
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, might.
You might want to hold off on that one for a bit.
Yeah.
They got some stuff going on over there right now.
Yeah, it's just
Can I get I'm gonna switch from wine to beer. You got any Coronas?
On just a little segue on that, I've been wondering, have you thought, like, they're calling it the coronavirus, and I just thought, do you think like Corona has, like, the beer has to
be-
they have to hate that?
Do they hate it or do they love it?
Well,
So
now
you take
everyone's
that,
like,
you think,
well, yeah, there's no such thing as bad publicity. That's what my mom always said. But I'm living.
I embody that.
Yeah, that's like
that hit me the other day. I was like, Corona. I was like, I wonder what they're thinking about this.
You guys played winter ball, right?
I played.
Anyone else? And you
Dominican.
played
Dominican.
You did too. I didn't know that. Who'd you play for?
Dominican.
La Romana.
Oh, you were in the fancy part, like.
Ooh, did you stay? Did you? Oh, you stayed at a
Lawana's
resort.
like the resort part.
Costa de Campo.
Wow,
Yeah, I don't.
that's big
That's
time.
right.
High life.
That's pretty
Big
macho right there.
times.
I still caught the sickness.
Oh,
You drank the water.
What, the funk?
I don't know. I got it.
Did you?
I got it. I got sick. Went to the hospital in the Dominican Republic.
oh, that's not good.
Super terrifying.
not good.
And I think I'm pretty tough. You know, like I was like, I'll be all right. You know, like so like 3 days in, I'm like not gonna make
This
it.
is
I'm gonna
it.
die here.
This is it.
Take me to the hospital. And they take me, and I'm in, and, you know, like we go in the back door of the hospital, which I thought was super, like, red flag. Like that's, doesn't seem like the right place to go in. And they bring out this needle that's like, I mean, it's like this. They're like, hey. And I'm like donde? Like, where are you putting it?
What do you think's about to happen here?
And they're like, it's estomago. And I'm like, you are not sticking this needle in my stomach. And I'm like, get out. And I send them out. And then the poor lady who I was sharing my room with, she basically said, oh no, they were just gonna stick it in your IV. Like, what do you think we are, like animals? And I'm like, oh, you're gonna put it in my IV bag and then it's gonna drip into my arm. I'm like, okay, like, yes, please come back.
Please come save my life.
Give me the medicine. But I just thought she was gonna jab it like, straight in my stomach.
You'd be ready to play tonight.
How do you guys feel playing at like Coors Field?
I think a lot of people, you know, you talk normal people.
Yeah.
We'll call them normal people. And they're like, oh, it's not a big difference. If you're a professional athlete, like you're pretty in touch with your body.
Sure.
And yeah, I mean, it's a drastic difference. Like the recovery aspect of it is so much harder. You need a couple weeks to become accustomed to that altitude, and we're never there for a couple weeks. Like we come in and then we suck air, you know, for our homestand, and then we leave, and then we come back, and so we're constantly adjusting, and that makes it tough. And my body always feels better on the road, like significantly better. But at the same time, like you're usually going closer to sea level. There's going to be more humidity. The ball is going to do slightly different things when it leaves the pitcher's hand. And for me, the hardest part is adjusting to maybe that curveball biting a little more, or that sinker sinking a little more than you thought. You know, the ball performing slightly differently is going to feel like a huge difference for me, like in the box, seeing pitching every day.
I had that experience when I was there. I pitched one game there, and I kept like dotting fastballs down and away. Like, yep, I executed that one, ball. Same thing. There's like a cluster of like 8 of them on top of each other.
He goes with his numbers. He knows all of them.
Yeah, and I swore I was getting super frustrated on the mound because I'm like, those are strikes. I know those are strikes. And I'd go and I'd look, and it was like 2 inches off the plate. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I know those are strikes. I couldn't make the adjustment. When I looked at it after the game, my fastball was running 3 inches less than it did normally.
You know, guys joke and talk about like when we at home we're gonna throw, you know, 4-seamers, curveballs, and changeups, and then we go on the road we're gonna go throw sliders and sinkers, and because that's what moves on the road versus what moves at home.
Can you throw a sinker now?
I don't want to tell you what I can throw now. It's gonna be a surprise.
That's fair.
I'll tell you what though. After
You saw me at Driveline.
Oh, you went to Driveline?
We don't need to talk about that.
All right. After playing, I only played a handful of games at Coors, but I feel like knowing what I know and the experiences, I would put up with the recovery and the altitude aspect to be able to hit in the ballpark as hitters. But what?
Whatever you gain, it's an offensive part.
Yeah,
Offensive
no question. Yeah.
Whatever you gain, I would be willing to guess you end up giving back when you try and transition back to San Francisco. Or you leave elevation, go back, and now all of a sudden things are like overwhelming you. Like this looks way sharper, and this isn't. Like you can't be as consistent because the same arm speed and the same spin and the same angle will do two different things, whether you're at Denver or anywhere else other than Denver.
Everyone talks about the pitchers.
So that adjustment, I think the hitters, you gain something at elevation, but then you give it back once you go on the road, and the fact that you're like super exhausted because you've been running all over that outfield, which at elevation.
Yeah.
Just your home park in general for hitters. For the most part, the home road splits are always better at home.
Mm-hmm. True. It's an offensive park.
But not Denver. I'm just saying in general. Like at any stadium, like your home park, you generally hit better at home. So everybody talks about Denver being hitters parks for you.
Yeah, how much does that take into account?
How much does that take into account versus
everybody's usually better at home.
Everybody else usually who is, if you're a 360 hitter at home and you hit 280 on the road, you're still your 330 or whatever it is.
I know personally my statistics will show that I always perform better on the road. Now, the sample of Miami and the atmosphere environment there, like, don't get me wrong.
Is that hard to play, like, in front of when there's?
Of course. I mean, think about it. Like, you do something you love, and like my thought growing up, and actually just playing in other stadiums, like my first, like people always will ask, like, what's your best or not your best, but your first memory of playing in the major leagues, right? Probably after the dust settled and like you get up and like everything is going so quickly. Like, I made my debut in San Diego, played in LA, and then went to Philly. And so like 5 games passed. I hit a home run, my first home run in LA, but I got to Philly and finally like I had a chance to like sit back and like I looked up and I was like seeing 3 full decks. This was in like 2013. And I was like, wow, I'm like, this is Major League Baseball, right? And then you get home to Miami and there's like, a couple thousand people maybe filling in behind the seats, and it's like a different feeling. And I really do believe that the energy for soccer, you go and the whole community, the whole city, the whole cities are there supporting, cheering, like wearing jerseys, screaming, yelling. They love their players. I think that's huge. For you, just makes you want to perform better, and it makes the team just want to do.
Do you think there's a way to? Will baseball ever be that though? Do you think with that type of atmosphere?
I think that's a cultural thing, right? Like that's.
I think certain stadiums are always going to get that. They're going to get their diehards and their people. I think some places.
Culture is going to be different city to city.
Yeah. We were in Cleveland and we went to the World Series in 16. 17, we'd had 15 to 20,000 fans a game.
Yeah.
Like even when we were doing good, we had won 22 games in a row. We didn't sell out games.
Yeah.
It's like they just didn't show up all the time, especially if obviously we had but then you go on the flip side, when the Browns played,
unbelievable.
They weren't that good.
Doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
They lost 16 games.
It's weird.
Won 16,
it's weird.
and they're sold out.
I was thinking the same thing when you said that. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio.
It's unbelievable.
What is it about the Browns? Like, I don't know, but then
How much do you think it may have to do with 16 games, 80 games, and 162 games?
I think it has a ton to do with that.
You know what? Oh, I can't make this game. Well, we can go tomorrow. We can go next week. We can go next week.
I wonder if the access to us almost every day over the course of 6 months can lead you to believe, like, if it's not today, somebody else is going to go and I can go tomorrow. And it can be expensive as well too if you're bringing a family and you start stacking up. I mean, parking and the tickets, and then you're gonna get your hot dog and your Coke, and it's
yeah, absolutely. And like you were talking about it earlier. I mean, you guys are, I guess, better versed or more well equipped. I mean, you're a player rep
on the executive subcommittee.
Okay, so he's
the top of the top, right? Yeah, like
you're big time, Murph.
You guys work for me.
Like, yeah, pretty much, at least on the player side. But like,
supposed to know what I'm talking about.
So what information are you privy to? I mean, I guess if I asked you, you'd tell me. We're in the same fraternity. But I mean, like, what do you facilitate, or what kind of conversations do you get before the common?
Yeah, how does that work?
How does that work?
I'm not even sure.
So some of it would be. So So like some of the stuff we're talking about is like length of game. What they've kind of sit out and speaking with like some not behind the scenes, but it's not the length of game that gets them that much, it's the pace. So that's why the mound visits, it's the pitching changes, and it's the lack of balls in play. So this is why they're discussing stuff about like
Baseball hates strikeouts, Shaw.
yeah, they hate.
I'm sorry about it.
Our fault.
It's the three true outcomes.
Everybody knows too hard
is made it where in the focus groups, I believe, with MLB is like people want action. Like they want the ball in play. They want things happening. They want people stealing. And what we've now learned
Nobody steals
with analytics, if you're not running at like a 75% click, just
don't run.
Keep your bottom at first base. You'd be better
try
off
and hit
not
a
making it
homer.
out. Yeah, well, I mean,
Don't strike out. We don't want to see strikeouts.
You know,
People don't want to see strikeouts.
You know the easiest way to get more balls in play?
What's that, bud?
Enforce this foreign substance rule. Don't let pitchers use foreign substance. Like every bit your spin rate goes up, the ball is harder to put in play. Breaking balls are nastier, fastballs stay up, move more, all this different
It's
stuff.
the easiest way, right? I mean, as far as
And foreign substance adds like 200 to 400 RPM when you use it. So it's like if you drop that down, you just look at the amount of balls in play. If you actually look at the numbers, like that would drastically increase the balls in play.
in speaking with pitchers who have done it, is like, all right, I'm willing to let you have access to a little bit of tack if it's going to ensure that you don't throw one at my chicklets. So like, I'm okay with that. I think maybe what you're talking about is at the point that you get beyond, like, I just want to make sure this is
Being able to control the ball.
yeah,
being able
to like,
manipulate
okay,
it.
now I'm trying to jack my RPM.
But see, I think this is a false premise because I don't use it and I don't hit many guys at all.
No, and there, I think there is a level of it. I would say there is a level of it to it that I'm skeptical at how much they need it in order to not chuck one at us.
Yeah.
But I have been in the past willing to be like, okay, like you can have a little bit, just don't in a way where you're like cooking up some sort of sauce where you can like jack the RPMs up and make it really more difficult for guys.
Yeah. How'd you get into being a player rep? Like, did you start when you were young as a?
Yeah, so I think I probably started the same way a lot of players started when you first got like, so if I'm now, the way it really happened, I walked out of the shower and we were having a union meeting in the clubhouse and they're like, who's gonna be the player rep? And David goes, Murphy. And I was a rookie and I was like, well, I guess this is my job now. They did it to young guys as a way to like you pay attention and learn it. But I was like, okay, I'll do it. And then you realize like you actually do have a couple things, like you have to relay information to them. And then the worst, rain delays and rain outs. So we get rained out. And so now here comes the negotiation. Everybody in the clubhouse wants to do a straight doubleheader because nobody wants to be at the ballpark from 9 o'clock in the morning to midnight. And the manager's in there and ownership's in there. And it's like, all right, the guys want to do a straight doubleheader. And he kind of goes, okay, that's good. We're going to do a split. Because basically it's like, and then I learned like, oh, they want both gates. You need to get everyone out to get both gates. And that was my first introduction to,
how'd that turn out?
we don't have a lot of say in this. And I'm just going to go in there and get pelted. So I was like, and then I've gotten into some big time friction with like when it comes to rain delay and in front offices throughout my
Did you
career.
ever win?
One of them,
If you can name the number of times that you won, those aren't good odds.
no, it's like, it first would be like, what's your definition of winning?
True.
I just learned that I'm over here like laying it down with no leverage whatsoever. And so we do it now and I give Scotty Oberg, now I pat him on the bottom and I'm like, you go and give him hell, okay? I can round the troops and get them together so you can explain it, but I'm off that move. Like I don't do that anymore.
You were part of the rain delay in Cleveland that started at like 12:30, right, in the second inning. Played like an inning and a half or
Inning
something.
and a half, and then we had like a 6-hour rain delay and picked the game up at like 11:30 at night or something like that, and played the game until like 2 in the morning. That's gross.
Now let me.
And then a noon game the next day.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Yeah,
rain
that
delays,
happens.
Player safety.
I think you were both a part of the one that's
I don't know what
at
you're
least
talking
was
about.
talked about.
No recollection of this happening.
I like that.
Does this?
'Cause I do the same thing.
Did you guys think that rain delay? First of all, I want to know who decided to pull the tarp that game during the World Series in '16.
Bro.
Right? I mean, Because now I heard the stories. Jason Hayward, he went in, he gave this big pump-up speech. He rallied the troops. They came out, and they freaking won it. And you guys had it won, but the tarp was pulled. And
See, this is the Cleveland guy in you coming out. I like this.
I'm a baseball lover, okay? I love the game, and I'm from Cleveland, and I have some friends on the team. Okay, Trevor, you're my friend. Shaw, it's to be determined. But so I was just like, dude, how do you pull the tarp right now when they're up and home?
Had to be out of their hands.
Come on,
MLB
what was the deal? What do you know?
Right.
Tell me what you know.
As far as I know.
It had to be out
Whose
of like.
hands was it in? Major League Baseball?
Had to be Major
Rob
League
Manfred,
Baseball,
your
yeah.
buddy?
Who? Segue.
My buddy.
Segue.
Come on. I mean, I couldn't believe that.
There was no way, like, if not for the tarp, just the way that things were going, the stadium, the energy and whatnot, there was no way we lose that game.
That's what I'm saying, bro. And it was done.
I have multiple things.
It was like
we shouldn't have got to Game 7.
Okay, but you were. But tell me. But I mean, it was
we left 11 guys in scoring position in Game 5.
Correct.
And lost
Listen,
by
you're
1.
a pitcher. Don't put it on us. It's hard. You guys.
I pitched that game. I lost it.
I pitched that game too.
Yeah.
All right. Well. Okay.
Pitched I think every game except for one.
But I mean, I just like
Game
that.
6.
I also
Game 6,
went
right?
in and said I'm not coming out of this game. I'm pitching during the rain delay. And they said they had no intention of taking me out, so it kind of worked.
Perfect, on the same page.
But
Nailed it.
I was just so disappointed. I mean, I thought that was.
and then people hated me more than they already did.
Yeah, you were like the favorite scapegoat for everything in Cleveland. God, the amount of
People hated me before I lost that game.
The amount
Before
of
I
hate
lost Game 7.
I knew there
is
was
unbelievable.
hated me.
The amount of hate that, like, we would just go through and read some of the tweets sometimes.
Amazing.
Even after you did well, even after you like saved a game or something.
People are ruthless, man. I mean, the more and more
Have you caught some negative attention lately? Is that a thing?
I don't understand
Really?
why, Charlie.
I have no idea.
I'm just this nice,
It's
wholesome,
almost like-
genuine,
like
authentic
they don't
dude.
know how awesome you are. in
And
real
yeah,
life.
but people want to hate.
It's almost like they only watch the games. It's like they only care about how good of a baseball player
Get to
you
know
are.
me at a dinner table amongst my friends or with, hey.
I do want to know what the backstory is with you and Christopher.
Oh, then that's the craziest thing. So we'll lay it out on the line. Like, I don't have any problem with Chris. There was nothing that was in my mind that day when I hit the home run off of him. It was just like, I got to a 2-0 count, and I'm like, I'm just going to take this, like, absolute AA plus swing that we all talk about. And I don't know, I just connected with it. And the way that I hit it and finished, I just, like, stopped, and I looked, and I was like,
That makes it so much worse.
Unprovoked. just unprovoked.
No, and that's the thing.
just
Everyone's
out
like,
of
you
nowhere,
hit the guy?
you started it.
No, like when I was in the minor leagues with the Tampa Bay Rays, he got traded over from Chicago, and like I knew him like he was above me, and like I was in probably.
Chris is a nice guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just like me, I'm a nice guy. All right, so all right, that's to be determined. But no, like seriously, so we knew each other. We had like
So it's exactly what it looked like. Like it was just such a good swing. You had to
that I was just
stand there. And
exactly. I told you, what you see is what you get. So I looked at it, and I figured he was going to be mad. I mean, most guys would have been mad at
then you
that.
looked at it,
And
and you kept looking at it,
and I kept looking at it,
and then you still looked at it some more.
look at the batting stance guy. That guy. I never thought in my life I'd be on a batting stance guy. He does like all the greats, and he did this one where he hit it, and then he like laid at home plate like on his back with his hands like this and his legs out, and that was supposed to be me. But so when I came back around, I figured I was gonna get thrown at, but he freaking missed me, which sucks because you know why it sucks? It's not a selfish
it's
moment.
coming again.
No, because Sin-Chu Chu had the team record at 26, and I tied him that last year at 26.
This is what you're thinking about?
Yeah, if he would have freaking hit me, I would have had 27 and set the record, man.
This is
Chris,
so
if you're watching, you should have hit me in the ass instead of missing me. And
So
I'm
you
glad Keller didn't hit me in the head.
you hit a homer and stare at it 5 different times before you leave
Yeah,
the
but
box.
I didn't know where I was going to be.
And then
was-
your first thought
No,
is that you're
that was-
not breaking the record.
No, that was way later, bro. I could. Who knows if I would have broken the record? That was after everyone else had hit me for staring at home runs. So yeah, I got to 26, and it is what it is. But I mean, listen, there should be no hard feelings.
You sparked like the best brawl in baseball history.
Well, a lot of it has to go. Well, two guys in that. I mean, Yasiel Puig, who loved the dude. By the way, there's a lot of guys. I'm sure people say it about me. Like when you're watching the dude play, you're like, "What's this dude doing? Like, who is this guy?" But then you actually play with the guy, and you're like, "Oh, okay. He's a good dude. He's a good teammate." And I will say that at least. I don't know what it's worth, but I'll say that about Puig because he had my back, and and then Amir Garrett, like that was another level type of thing. Like I've never seen somebody go off the mound, and he's like, "All right, can you take the ball? Take the ball. I'm gonna go fight these guys." And I'm like, "Fucking take the ball out of my hand. I'm gonna fight these guys." He's like, "All right, take the ball," and he's gives it to the coach who because our manager was already thrown out of the game.
The outfield coach.
The outfield coach who comes out and so he just gives him the ball and just sprints off the mound right for the dugout, the whole dugout. And I was just like, I've never seen that. No one's ever seen that in Major League Baseball. That was like another level. AG got your back, bro. That's what he always says. He's like, AG got your back. So, I've done some crazy things, but the fact
you got like half our team suspended.
Yeah, well,
that's got to be good for baseball, though, right?
Well, no, they shut
it
it down.
That was all over. Yeah. That was all over every network for days.
Every media platform.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, craziest things happen, and no one's ever seen the fight. The last one was the nuts. I mean, I still think about it. I'm like, I can't believe he ran straight to.
Yeah, what are you
taking out?
T-shirts are made of that. There's there's quotes, there's posts, there's everything about that. I mean,
just a marketing ploy for himself.
Yeah,
he built his brand.
If he can capitalize
after
on
this,
it,
he's going on UFC. That's for sure.
I've been with you since Arizona. We got traded to Cleveland together, and then I left you for 1 year, and you throw the ball over the center field wall.
What are you trying to say here? You keeping me in control?
What has happened?
Nothing's changed.
So 5 days before that, I got like super sick. And so I wasn't even at the field like the 4 days leading up to the start. They sent me home so I didn't get everybody sick. I didn't get to throw a pen. I didn't get to lift. I didn't get to nothing. So I show up that day, and I'm really freaking weird. So I take 50 plus measurements on myself every day.
Yes, he takes his pee every day, his blood every day, his grip strength every day, how high he jumps every day, how hard he can push his shoulder thing. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
So I'm.
Is that a real thing?
I've seen that.
Yeah, I swear.
It's weird.
I take like 50 metrics on myself every day. So
that's good.
I show up to the field after I'm super sick still, trying to recover, dehydrated. It's a day game in Kansas City, hot as hell, and all my measurements are super down for the day. The worst that I've ever measured in 2 years of collecting all this data. The worst I've measured. Should not pitch. Red flags everywhere, right? But I had a start in 2015 where I got food poisoning the night before. I couldn't make my start. TJ House had to make that start for me on 30 minutes notice. Ended up hurting his shoulder that day, and his career kind of, he was never the same, right? And so at that point I had told myself I'm not going to miss another start like that again. I'm not going to put a teammate of mine in that situation. So I'm going to pitch today. So I go out there. It's going okay. It's a serious struggle just dealing with the heat and being sick. And then the fifth inning comes. And it's one of those innings that just there's a sun ball, there's a broken bat that just dribbles through, there's a double play ball that hits off the mound and kicks a weird way. And so all this stuff is happening. And usually when this stuff happens, I get super pissed off. Mm-hmm. And then my stuff spikes and I'm able to find a way to get out of it. And I was not getting pissed off. It was just okay, well, let me execute a pitch. I didn't feel competitive at all. And so I even forget like what the final straw was. And I saw Tito coming out on the field. I knew I was done, and I just snapped. Mm-hmm. I just like freaking launched it because I was so mad that I couldn't even get mad. Mm-hmm. Like I was, and we had been down 11 games in the division. At this point, we had cut it to 2. We're chasing the Twins down, and like I didn't feel like I was able to contribute in any meaningful way. I'm freaking doing everything I can out here. Nothing's going my way. It's super frustrating.
What did he say?
Wow.
What did he say?
My first thought when I did it is the sun ball that started the whole thing off went to center field, and Oscar Mercado, our rookie, lost it in the sun, turns into a double or whatever. And my first thought after I let it go was crap, they're gonna think or Oscar's gonna think that this is me like showing him up about the sun ball. And then I turned around and I saw Tito coming out. I'm like, shit. They're also gonna think that I'm showing Tito up for pulling me out of the game. I obviously need to come out of this game. Like I know that. And so then, Tito gets out there and he goes, you can lip read it, but I think the words were, "What the fuck are you doing?" Just pure, like rage, So I walk down below, and like Tito obviously gets done with the pitching change, comes in and just absolutely just blew me up. Deservedly so, rightfully so. I don't remember anything that he said, except that he was like this close to my face. Like I couldn't see his whole face. That's how close he was, just screaming and like. I'm wearing at that point, obviously, like. There's nothing I can say. Yes, sir, you're right. I'm sorry. I apologize. Like whatever. The game ends. Lindor is like one of the last guys in, and just absolutely blows me up. Like again, rightfully so. It's like it's disrespectful, immature, all the different stuff. Everything that you would say about that moment. And so then everyone stayed in the clubhouse. I don't think the coaches were, and I think they went to the coaches' room. I don't remember if they're in there or not. Basically told everyone, look, like. I was wrong. I snapped. That's super unprofessional. It's a terrible look on our team as a whole. Super disrespectful to all the guys in this clubhouse. Obviously, I realized I put you guys in a bad position. I also put fans in danger throwing the ball like that. Like, just rattled down the list of everything. I'm like, I understand that. Look, I messed up here. I'm completely owning it. I'd love to continue going forward with you guys if you'll accept my apology and have me back. If not, I understand that too. And then, 2 days later, see ya, gone. Actually, on the day that the brawl happened, I got traded as the brawl was happening.
But the good news is that, that was that start, that was the best velocity and the best movement you had on any pitch that night. So
103.8 according to StatCast.
So
nice.
we're all about numbers here at the Bauer Bytes. Watch momentum, baby.
That's right.